might have said that MIBR wouldn't be the first team I'd say is going to do that work, but with Yanko, absolutely he's going to.
I absolutely agree. He knows that's what he's brought in to do, to be that analytical presence within the squad. And remember, Shazam and Stan, the two star players brought into the squad, had 9 frags between them on train. That is not good enough, especially at this stage of the tournament. Ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Map number 2. compLexity on the back foot here. They need to find that form we saw so much of in the studio. It's up to Tarek now, holding towards the apartments, but it looks like compLexity on a slice of banana as they head towards that area of the map. Fallen will fall back as he looks to hold a more defensive line here. 3 players here for compLexity. They have 1 smoke. If they are committing towards B, that's going to be a little bit uncomfortable. You've got that smoke for CT spawn. You've got nothing for the coffins there, but Stewie will be playing towards new boxes. Smoke towards the A side of the map just to pull some attention over. A decoy as well. So there you go. Still got the smoke. It's just a decoy thrown over. 5 players coming in now. They'll smoke spawn, double flash, and need to segregate Fallen and focus on Stewie 2K.
And this is anticipation by coldzera. They've not had any contact toward that boiler position with 2 players playing that far forward. They start the rotation early, and they're going to go for the flank. This is full commitment from compLexity. No other option. And from straight above, coldzera fires directly down. They got blocked inside of the smoke, and Cold gets 4 on the pistol.
It's gone from bad to worse. Another clean sweep for MIBR. You can see compLexity just falling apart at the seams here, going through the smoke. That was their idea, but they met the stack. That's going to be so disheartening for them. They picked up this pistol, man. They think, oh, this is our map. We can do this now. A T-side pistol in the bag. But they get nothing. Not even a single kill. No damage inflicted. They look foolish as they go through the smoke there. And coldzera happier than ever. He is the catalyst for MIBR on their CT side of Inferno and their T side, to be fair. He is going to step up. He's already shown how strong he's looking today. And now the force by has to come in from compLexity. They can steal this round back. They'll also steal the momentum. But it's still going to be very difficult to map like Inferno. They've still got a couple of Molotovs here and some basic control coming through as Stan gets in towards those apartments, but Fallen full banana control now. And at this point could even be left alone, but he'll be baited in by Stewie 2K, who plays the car. So Stewie has the MP9. He's holding up there, suggesting, I've only got the MP9, there's getting information, I'm going to fall back. Then they hopefully run past Fallen, and he gets a big spray down. No one looking at him, and he gets 2. That's enough, because now Stewie can hold the bomb side, doesn't have to challenge anymore. Wait for the rotations.
Down to 56, Stewie retreats, gets on top of Orange's 1. Well to get 2, considering. And with that angle, pretty easy to find a headshot onto Android. Bomb flies forward, and although they recover it, so there's really nowhere to go. Look how blind they are. Def just staring into a corner. Oh, Stewie.
He's just getting stuck in an English culture, you know, a cup of tea, that's what he's going for.
Having it with an English guy in that
exactly.
case.
That's exactly what he's going for. Nothing rude there, I don't think. So either way, it is going to be round number 3. Another gimme, I have to say, for MIBR. As compLexity didn't manage to really get anything done in their first 2 rounds. They have 1 kill to their name so far, as we will see the 3-0 be realized in very quick fashion, I'd imagine. This is looking bleak now. Remember, compLexity played this map so much in the opening sector of the major. They went, I think, 3 times with Inferno. They had to be tested in the second stage with a couple of other maps, but Inferno was their calling card and started to turn heads on how good the teamwork was. As Stewie applying the pressure out towards these steps, not a huge deal if he goes down. He keeps the MP9, it's a nice bonus. Another clean sweep, and this is actually getting a little bit out of control. They're not applying any pressure. So 2 MP9s are for mass, but compLexity will have the AKs now. I'm almost certain they won't have an AWP on the T side of Inferno just yet. You can see it's looking quite flat in the compLexity camp right now. As we'll head into round number 4. Will there be aggression once again from the CTs? There's MP9s in the hands of Tarek and Fallen. Fallen usually playing towards B with Stewie. Maybe he wants to get down towards those logs once again. Big round here for compLexity. They can pull this one off and start to break the money of the CTs as a chance, but they go down 5-0 again. I feel like they might be out of here. We'll see. Haven't convinced me yet. When the star players get 9 frags between him, Stan and Shazam, that is, that's just not going to be good enough.
It's absolutely not good enough. Not on a stage like this, not at any event, let alone a major.
I'd say, like, if Shazam got 9 frags in train, I'd say that was poor, but he got 3. And he's supposed to be the main AWP, and that's an AWP-centric occasion that might have completely destroyed his confidence. But we'll see. And Jackie here, holding towards the car position once again. Same mentality. They do check it this time to get a trade, so that's better than nothing. Much better, as Def gets the second as well. The Cold Zero, he'll be dropped. This is looking very good.
Yeah, first, the lineup though, Tarek steals it back.
No way.
It did look very good. First time that the duel, when they've walked out on that occasion, has gone the way of complexity. And great read from Def. He knew that they were going to get re-peaked. If Stewie was going to fake them in, he was going to try and trade off of it. Def still doing fantastic work. We'll take Fur down as well. But that lineup gives them the bomb. Tarek able to collect 2, smokes himself off as well. That gives him transfer along the top of the mid wall.
Yeah,
new position to work with.
Bomb's in boiler room right now, so that's why he wants to smoke. He's not looking for a gap. He's just trying to run that clock down as much as possible. It's going to take them another 15 seconds or so to pick that up and work out what their next move is. At that stage, Matt, they can't go towards B anymore. They have to commit towards A, and Tarek knows that. So keep your eye on the clock and realize now that he knows exactly where they have to go, and they both go towards boiler. This could be a little bit of an awkward moment for them because they're going to have to commit and walk out. Tarek playing this so smart. Doesn't nail the first shot cleanly, but he does get it in the end. 10 seconds remaining. Def has to go for him. Clock running down. And he will make his way towards garbage, and that's the kill he needed. 4 for Def in the round. He isn't going down without a fight here. Very, very close to Tarek. Perfectly played to bring it down to the 1 versus 1. But Def applied the pressure. And that should have been a much cleaner one for complexity in general. Is that play from Tarek towards boiler that made things very awkward.
Just
indeed.
to point out, there's 6 kills total from complexity. They just won the last round on kills. That means it was 5. 4 of them from Def. That's how slow they are to get into this game. But he was assertive in that round, and he absolutely made it work toward Banana. More importantly, to read that Stewie was to re-peak. Good play to take Tarek.
Remember, though, that's the bonus round from MIBR. They had 2 SMGs going into that one, and a FAMAS. Now they come out with 2 AWPs, 3 M4s, and all the utility required. Complexity, a very different story. Galil, 2 UMPs. Backs to the wall here. What can they really do without the firepower? They'll have to go for the default and hope some aggressive play comes from the CTs, and hopefully the AKs can find the initial kills. But Fallen, it's so strong at the B bomb side. Do you even dare challenge this corner? Does someone try and pre-fire him here? Time will tell, but they have B control at least. Has to be an execution play for me. They can't just run a default and hopefully take down the jewels, because they will be taken down by the superior firepower and weaponry of MIBR. There's the first kill. Ye is dropped, and Fallen once again can fall back to more defensive line. His job is done.
And they've discouraged complexity entirely from trying to take over the banana position. Rotations go back toward middle. They've had androids sitting inside of the apartments the entire time. 49 seconds. Further utility used by Cold. Incendiary to hold off the apartments. That doesn't last as long as a smoke would, so he still has pressure heading his way. Shoulder peek from Def. Too slow on the second one, I'm afraid. Cold never even bought it, never even moved. Good play, though, toward Arch. They stand and wrap. Tarek's in the open. If he wraps faster, it doesn't even matter. Shazam's going to get him down. They know Cold's inside. Smoke still in front of Library. Good read. Good take. Ball needs to get in position. It's caught. Fallen has it. 23 seconds. They can just barely recover it. Android makes a run for it and gets away, knowing that Fallen had to reset. But the flashes and incendiaries go in crisscross fashion. It doesn't quite reach Android. It bounced away. Smoke has a massive gap. That funnels them toward the wall, mind you. HP is so low as well on the complexity side. They backed off to go for the bounce flash in through. That allows Stewie a little bit closer on the M4. Still he spots Android, but not before his head gets taken off, and Fallen on an op. Make it at least expensive, perhaps, as he can keep them both near enough to the bomb. He has a kit to work with, but missed first shot on the AWP. He's going to have to back out. It's 2 in a row for complexity.
Well, there we go. That's more like it from complexity. They lose the first 2 kills, but still believed in the fact that he gets towards the quad. As soon as they have the inside the Cold Zero, has the AWP, bait out the shots from him, and make sure you can punish with those SMGs, get them as close as possible. Much better. And they might have actually got themselves in a situation where MIBR are going to be on an eco here. Android, for me, MVP of that round. This shot summarized it perfectly. Low HP, had to position correctly there and play around the bomb with his teammate, and he does a very good job there. And it doesn't look like MIBR are going to buy, so they might be able to tie things up here at 3-3. Remember, this is their pick. It was looking so bad from there. It was a full reset round as well, but they managed to win it. This time got the 5 AKs up against pistols, though, of MIBR, and that's still not necessarily good news, because the Deagles of the Brazilians can be absolutely deadly. But Shazam looking sharper now as he peeks out from the underpass and takes out the orb from Fallen.
Yeah, the op does get grabbed again. No, Cold will have it, and he's rotated with it. He catches out Android. They now know that. But again, Cold excuse me, sir, will get by his teammate and continue to try and be dynamic. He needs to be in this situation. Back to a 4-on-4, they'll funnel themselves toward the banana position. Single player inside of the site. That's Stewie, and forget the fact that he was going to try and hold his back to the smoke and wait for flashes. He just gets obliterated through it by Ye. Should, all things considered, be another round. So long as Cold can't find a shot on this op, careful not to give anything up.
This will be Tarek holding onto the AK now, and Fur with the CZ protecting the AWP of coldzera. But compLexity looks like they're in this map now. They're not going to get ran over. They can actually be competitive here as 4 players survive once again. Only Android goes down. 3-3 confirmed. That is making sure no one gets close to the bomb here. And coldzera locking them in from CT spawn. He wants to make sure if anyone decides to hunt for exit kills here, he's ready and waiting and will punish. They should be exiting through the banana here. No reason to go through CT spawn at all. As he holds up, looks like no one will be coming his way whatsoever. They go back towards the T-spawn area. It's going to be 3-3 indeed. The first signs of life we've seen from compLexity here. It's their map pick. It was looking very bleak to begin with. But this is much better. 3 rounds in a row. But remember, MIBR could have bought that round. They could have forced it out. They've already got a map lead. They know the last round's a bit of an anomaly. They had a 5 versus 3 that slipped away. They don't have to force by here. It's very early on. It's 3-3 from the CT side. They've now got the AWP saved over, the AK in the hands of Stewie, and they go back to business as usual now in round number 7.
And we talked about this as well during the group stage, that when you get into best of 3s, you make different decisions with your money because you have a little more time. You can take a little more risk, but also in this case, as you say, MIBR has a map lead. There's not as much pressure. The A starts to clear out banana. Molotov down. They'll counter those off. He's expectingly extinguished, one of which that was thrown halfway down, so they could actually take some control. I say that, and at the same time, there's a bit more aggression from both Fallen and Stewie. Meanwhile, back over toward the A side. Heavy bias toward the pit side, specifically in the apartments. Fallen knows they're toward that wall, and I was thinking he might try exactly that, to fire through. Didn't quite get the lineup correct toward EA. He's forced all the way back to CT, excuse me. So there is banana control established. Bomb is still down toward T, so this is all about map control at this point for compLexity. They'll grab that now with a minute to go in the round. There's only 2 defensive nades left on the MIBR side. 2 smokes, 1 for Fur, 1 for Fallen. That's 1 on either site.
And they're holding the crossfires here on the A side. Tarek and coldzera. Rifles available, but they've given up a lot of middle here and the apartments. They're certainly feeling a little bit uncomfortable here. coldzera is trying to reclaim territory. Fur boosted up, good smoke by him. That should buy them some time and funnel them towards the arch almost, as Def has to go in that direction. They can't go through CT spawn per se with the smokes down there, and Fur waiting for his chance to strike.
Depending on this timing, this could be good for 2. Because if they go in that close together, I don't think Shazam's able to respond. There's the run boost, and Daddy's spotted. He certainly gets taken down. The feet still show, but he recovers. Great idea to run boost onto the atrium. Unfortunately, it's the one position that easily countered it. Great trade in the corner. Bomb is left that far inside of the site. Fortunately, they've already crossed over to grab that before Fallen was ready to read them like a book from library. As Def flashes back in that direction, Fallen forced off the angle. That gives him a bit of more room to maneuver. Deep inside the corner, he wants them to fully commit, but instead they head the other direction. They'll wrap around. That leaves Def little to work with if they get that far. Android now becomes the best defense.
Tony on the bike right now, great angle, but Stewie's already made it towards the hay bales here. This could be a little bit problematic. His teammate might drop here, but Stewie can't find the frag just yet. A really awkward duel on the bottom side, but Geth will come out on top as Android closes the door in MIBR. This is looking very good for them now in Inferno. They're not done just yet. Train was a battering, but now compLexity lead 4-3, and looks like they shut down the money. Not quite of MIBR, but it's on the cusp. They might have one more buy available, but coldzera, he couldn't do enough there, and Def manages to find the all-important kill on Stewie 2K. Android to finish things off. Will they buy up here, MIBR?
And finally they get some aim to go with it, because Android actually almost cost Def his life by letting Stewie get that far inside of the site. He wasn't quite ready for him to go by. You could see he even panic sprayed toward the box.
Absolutely. There we have it. It will be a tactical timeout from MIBR. They're not going to buy this round by the looks of things. They're going to have to let this one slip by. They have the 3-0 start, and now it's 4 rounds in a row for the North Americans. So we are going to have a partial buy, though, I will say that much. It might be all with the Deagles, the CZs. They've got smokes. They can treat this like a usual gun round, but compLexity looking like a unit once again. It looks like they can be dangerous. Inferno's being a lot more forgiving as they manage to make their way towards the A side. It's looking good on the trades. They're not demonstrating the craziest strategies. There's good fundamentals in the teamwork. The trades are there. They're making sure they're pushing together and time out the smokes and, like you said, run boost and deny that double kill from Fur. That was a nice little adaptation there they had to make. If Fur gets 2 there, it's over, but they managed to fight tooth and nail to find the kill. Can they extend their lead here to 5? It plays 3. Smokes down on the roof. That wasn't ideal, but still fine. As they have got the banana control, boosting a player up on the half wall. That's Shazam. SMG at the front. Throw him in first to ascertain whether there's a stack on this side of the map. Doesn't have to go in, of course, but they want to just sniff out the situation on the other side of the map here. That wouldn't be the worst idea in the world. He's going to hold there by himself and does this for rotations and challenge any pushes as his teammates go for a contact play. You don't want to queue too much. That's not great from Stan. He wanted to flush out the garbage area. Luckily no one's there, so it wasn't a huge deal, but they don't know that. They can actually go back towards B.
Shazam still in position toward the top of Banana. They've got smokes at the ready. Again, just making sure that there's no one on the flank, but this is heading toward 2 pistols. Well positioned, high above, and Fur easily takes down Shazam. Counter Molotov holds them off. Fur steps inside of it, wants the off angle, but gets towards the wall. Dev just barely with a chance shot, able to find him. Meanwhile, Ye is holding the flank. He now goes on one, tries to hold off the arch as the bomb comes back in toward A. They haven't committed yet onto the site. 20 seconds. They've got to be careful. They're in the middle of 3 players right now. Deathly crossfire to be in, even though it's just pistols for exactly that reason. Cold holding inside of the site, drops the bomb. 12 seconds. They just barely get the kills required to make up for it.
A little bit dicey there, but it looks like compLexity still win the round. Stewie, 2 versus 1, and so far removed from the situation. He'll be towards top middle right now. Has found the AK-47, but with no nades and no kit, it's looking very unlikely he manages to do anything with this one, but the bomb has only gone down a few seconds ago. So he'll at least explore his options to look for any mistakes here as he finds the players towards the graveyard. Needed the insta-kill there. Not going to be able to take care of business, I don't think. Save at this point, completely flashed. Got Ye down to 2 HP. At this point, locked him in the bomb site as he just tried to show a little bit more presence here. They'll fall back, knowing he can't win this at this point. They actually make it towards Arch as well. Let him keep the AK. It's absolutely fine, and he'll have to fall back, knowing they've slipped away at that point. So Stewie, no dice sack. He actually goes down. Bomb as well. That's actually quite significant. A player of his caliber with the AK is deadly. And
it would have been significant as well because it would have been an AK held, giving, I mean, they're going to have a full buy based on the fact that they saved to around 2K anyway. Could have potentially gone to a double op setup with him dropping one over and still have more utility for Tarek instead of just going on the rifle.
He still had his armor as well, so that was significant money removed with the bomb going off.
So they did, excuse me, Cold actually has it. I didn't see him already purchase that. Either way, it could have been done more efficiently. There's no question about that.
Yep, absolutely. Well, round 9 and compLexity. After what we saw on the first map, I can't believe we got to to this point. Ye Molotovs himself, and with the chaotic start to round number 9, it will be Fallen to capitalize there. They tried to Molotov the car. I'm not sure if we caught it. I was looking on my screen. It was the Molotov hit by the terrorists, and now Fallen is just tearing them apart as they look a little bit flustered there right at the bottom. They've lost this opener, but they have won 5 versus 3s before. It's round not necessarily over, but Shazam has been tagged up as well. He's on 45 points of health.
Flash, Shazam with the op T side trying to compensate for the loss. And all committed to Banana at this point, minute to go. Forget utility on the CT side. Mind you, if you want to look to trades and you want to look at isolating a site, you can bring this down to a 3-on-2 take if you get the read right. And MIBR is not ready for the rotations. And they've only got the 1 smoke still to play with, so those 2 kills are massive. MIBR knew the situation, went aggressive as a result. Fallen's rotated around, bringing the op in slowly, and they line up, they make it all too easy. I thought he might get away with 1 as they were searching inside of the site, but round all but done shortly. Shazam left with 23, they know exactly where he is. What a way to steal it back. First team 5, and they keep all 5 alive.
Well, there we go.
And you want a 5th 5 on there, or a 3rd 5, excuse me? It's an ace from Fallen as well.
There you go. Fallen. I have to say, thriving in the chaos there. That Molotov at the bottom wasn't thrown by the CTs, that was thrown by the terrorists who all got caught up, and they go down 1 by 1. You can't take anything away though from Fallen, who nails every single shot. He does such a good job at that beast on bomb site with the AWP, finishes things off with the AK. That is going to be Fallen's 11th frag. He is at the top of the charts right now on the server. As MIBR pull another one back, the money's still not amazing for compLexity, and he managed to keep 2 players alive in the round before. That time, of course, 0. Molotov deployed now as they look for full banana control once again. Fallen looking to get from that half forward. Such a cool little play from them as they don't do a perfect job this time. They'll probably slow down a little bit, but here we go once again. Fallen gets back up on the half wall, boosted by Stewie. And now CT's looking to fall back to that crossfire once again. Very fast with complexity.
Tarek was spotted. His shoulder just slightly extending beyond the wall when the flash came in. So Yang posted and ready. Fortunately, no one able to spot him from inside of the site while he did so. Bomb goes down. It sits to the man advantage on the complexity side. Now, remember, this is a reset, but we did mention it for good reason. 5 players stayed alive. It's still CT side. But if they can save these weapons, they'll be able to force out guns for their other 2 teammates, or rather, charitably give them away, shall we say.
But there we go, MIBR get nothing done at A whatsoever. It was a little bit awkward with the boost and start towards B, and then a fast approach from complexity. They've done that strategy before, but after a long, slow, arduous default. This time, right at the beginning of the round, trying to catch them off guard, and you could see MIBR just weren't ready for that attack out of the apartments. Tarek and Fur go down with absolutely nothing inflicted. That's going to be bomb planted early and a full save, considering of the double orb setup. Sure, it can be fantastic in certain situations, but can also be detrimental as well. Stewie will take down Shazam, and actually maybe get another one here with the wallbang attempt. Not quite. It will be 6-4. Complexity looking much better here. Remember, they lost the pistol as well. They're doing fantastically on their T side of Inferno. It's their map pick, looking to take us to a third.
Yeah, it certainly is home territory. We said it, their calling card at this event. 3 wins on it to get them in or on to this stage. 9-4 against arguably their toughest opposition as of yet. Fur, aggressive to mid. Can go the nade. I thought he would go for the straight jump perhaps and try and get across. They haven't exactly been relying on the T side of the AWP. They had it for Shazam the round that they got aced. Didn't do much for them, obviously, as Fallen tries to get back on the exact wall that started that play.
He doesn't necessarily stay on the wall. He's actually happy to be on Stewie's head. It's a lot safer to get up there, and it's still the same viewing angle, and he has backup and anyone comes range. It does make a lot of sense.
Oh, wow.
So does that spam, and it's called Zero goes down to 16, still holding his ground here. They seem to suspect Def could be in towards the logs. Tries a pre-fire the angle, but now Tarek's going to be tested, looking for another double spray down in the same position.
These
not going to happen.
These off angles that they're holding on the MIBR side. Complexity is expecting to wide peak with 2 players, and they keep getting caught in the lineup as a result. That's almost the 3rd time this game they had a 2-man spray down, if you include, I guess, the AWP from Fallen as a spray down. 4-on-4, they head back the other direction. They have the HP advantage again. Cold, you mentioned it. He held his ground despite being tagged so severely, but he has an AWP, so that 16 may not be to his detriment so long as position favors him. Fallen, the timing on the flash and smoke is forced off the angle. Couldn't sneak back out to where he found such great success last time, but he's got balls of steel to push through the smoke. Couldn't find the shot. Stewie's going to follow in his footsteps, I thought. I was going to say that's ill-advised with no further utility. The bomb plant complexity.
They're going to have to save again. That was Fallen's last-ditch attempt to actually try and make something happen. Complexity are up for this now. They're not going to roll over like they did on Train. They're going to extend their lead. 7-4. This is exactly what I was anticipating. I didn't think they stood a chance on Train, but they definitely can sink their teeth into Inferno. It's what they've been practicing the most. It's what they've got the most experience on LAN as well. Inferno's their map, and MIBR, for me, have always looked pretty weak on it. They either look horribly flat, or Cold Zero carries them through on their T side and manages to win clutch after clutch. So I was actually quite interested with the veto as it came through. MIBR will have to save again, knowing that Fallen goes down, gives up that orb. Def now has it for presumably Shazam in the next round. But MIBR's looking great on the T now, and as they keep extending their lead, it's currently 7-4. Only 1 round picked up in the last 8 for MIBR there.
Significant. So this time they will have the op. Shazam gets it. Very forward spawn. I know that's not really that much of a note on Inferno.
On these sort of rounds, it could be.
That's exactly it, right? It's situational, but it's worth mentioning because they have to be so aggressive on the MIBR side, given the economy, given that they really need to get back into this game. Shazam already posting at middle, though, so there's no way you beat that spawn to that position.
Nothing too flashy from Complexity here. It's just great fundamentals. Trading, for me, has been the most successful part of their game plan, as they're going in with numbers, biding their time until the opportunity arises, and making sure anyone who goes down is instantly answered back.
Oh, that nade strike somehow gets away from Ye. That could have been hit down, but the contest from MIBR, relentless pressure. It's starting to become the point, or at least the focal point of every single round, is that banana contest to try and get map control, and it pays off massively for MIBR's Android. Held at bay once more by a Tarek Molotov. Sneak out as soon as it extinguishes. Not yet any attention from Fallen because they don't suspect his arrival as of yet. Tarek still watching it though, does push him back. Dink through the edge of the balcony, leaves him on 67. Look at Stewie, pushed all the way down, and this is smart as well. Does not need to go any further, does not need to overextend. Gets information, actually elects to take the shot. I thought he might just sit there and contain them. Could relay that quite quickly to his teammates, but either way, they make do on it. Cole pops out.
No problems at all here for MIBR. Android left to try and cause some financial damage, but maybe good for one, not quite. Zera and Stewie 2K getting it done with the aggression up here at the start.
Significant to note, you did say that they had one round in the last 8, but now of the 2 rounds they've had, as they just pick up a second one, they've kept all 5 players alive in both of them, so they are giving themselves a chance with money in this.
They're just being very smart with their decisions, and coldzera has brought out a Zeus, I think you spotted there, so why not? It's cheap. Keep it out, and there will be another double orb situation from MIBR here at Shazam. Currently, again, another poor showing by him. I don't want to call out bad stats consistently, but Shazam, the star player of the squad, 2 and 10. They've got 7 rounds on the board where he's just had no impact at all.
Yeah, and that's where I said they weren't really relying on that op on the T side, but he's trying to get to it because he needs to rely on it. He's got to find a way to bring himself back into relevancy. Stewie takes down Depth. Again, it's MIBR starting to really take the bull by the horns inside of Banana. Falling back up on top of the wall this time. Deep smoke, hill anchor, early rotation, hoping that they can influence compLexity to look elsewhere on the map. They do have a player inside of the boiler door. Stan's made it that far at the very least. They'll slow things down this time. Fallen has to be ready to act on this. Staring at the wall, he'll play off sound cues.
Yeah, he's waiting for that flash to go off. Go for one, drop down. But a lot of people know this is how he plays. He needs to be careful here, but nails the shot, of course. He ties to perfection. It's injury as well.
I wouldn't mind seeing more of his POV on that, because I think the angle he was playing, he could still, as long as he's not 4x3, but on his settings, could still see actually their legs, but was ready to look from the flash. He was kind of preparing for both eventualities, and it pays off.
Well, looking much better here, MIBR. I think for their 6th round, I think it's guaranteed at this point. The orbs, the double orbs, have been sensational, and that's no different. Calm, as he finishes off round number 13 there. They're looking to win the half at this point. The money might be broken for compLexity.
3rd gun round, they win it with 5 alive. All the gun rounds that they've won on the MIBR side, it's perfect every time, super efficient.
So sick from Fallen, great timing. Knew he was safe, and then this was pretty stellar from Fur as well. Round 14 has to be the eco for last round, I think.
Also suggests, by the way, that every round that they've won and they've had the man advantage, you're seeing compLexity struggle to take ground back in the mid-round against MIBR in these situations. They're really, once they lose Banana, they lose map control, they're really struggling to pull themselves out from it. And you're right, they have broken down the economy, so 7-7 seems likely. Eagle in hand really gives them the only range. That's with Death.
Say as well, it's the rookies that have really been standout players with compLexity so far. Ye especially throughout this tournament, fantastic. He's had some massive moments here in the quarterfinals. Andrew is currently at the top. He played very well on the A side, been influential with Death in the trades. It's Stan and Shazam. Again, 6 frags between them, had 9 between them on train. Still got a half to go, and enough rounds already on the T side, so still plenty of time to react here. Spotting them towards Banana, that's Fallen. He hits Death through the wall and drops the incendiary once again and sends them packing towards the A side. They'll have to fall back, and they've got no grenades, no armor. It doesn't really matter. They remove grenades from the CT side now. We've got the last round coming up. They're hoping to get a plan out of this, or at least an opening pick with this Deagle. The coldzera, a bit of an off angle here on the corner. Waiting for the first kill to come in. Spots an arm, guarantees the kill, and he's still baiting his teammate there who's waiting with him on the quad. That's going to be Tarek in the boiler.
Should be slaughter. Straight headshots. Trey actually hits the 4th one that was further back on Shazam, and then Yik gets the response, but Tarek easily swings in, cleans up. Tie game going into round 15. compLexity still in a good position as a result of that. Remember, T side of Inferno,
yeah, absolutely.
But MIBR is starting to show some life again, and it's convincing at that.
Yeah, this is a great half from compLexity. The fact you get 7 rounds on the T side of Inferno, anything else at this point is a bonus. This is very convincing. Happy to see them performing here, and at least test MIBR. Just to note, coldzera 15 kills, 4 deaths. He has been a beast once again. Fallen 13. As we enter the final round of the first half, bare bones utility for compLexity. Their defaults have been good, but they've been losing this challenge towards B at the start of each round. I think they've just given in now and stopped challenging at the very start and going for a contact play towards middle. 4 players there right now. Stanislaw with the bomb, holding towards B to throw the flashbang, as they know they can get this mid control. They've tested it out enough now. As surely goes down at this point. Smoke will remove him from the situation. Good grenade as they start to wrap towards the site.
Smoke down to cover off the apartments. Great trade from Shazam. This time it's on the AK, just to make note, as he has struggled to find kills. Yay, certainly not. Finds another great headshot. Running through is Stewie, though. He'll find death. That takes down any control they had toward the archway and leaves Shazam in another dire situation. Ye was directly over top of his shoulder and able to babysit the bomb plant, but that leaves him, and they will know that it was not him planting it, on the site as well. Surprisingly, not a further rotation, or faster one, I should say, from Fur to try and pincer them in, hold them off, and Fallen now smoked means that Fur has to effectively do this alone. He's been undetected. Both players from compLexity staring in the direction where Fallen now makes noise, switches to the AK, and that noise should steal the attention away. Shazam's not looking. This could be the exact time Fur strikes, and it should be easy to find Ye if his attention continues to look the other direction. Shazam wants to the duel elsewhere, and he finally pulls around back. Finally, it's going to be compLexity to win out a one-on-one clutch. 3 kills for Shazam leaves him with a total of 5, nonetheless. 8-7 compLexity.
All is forgiven though, Matt. He has that sort of impact to actually win them the half and get 8 on the board. Doesn't matter how many frags he got. That was absolutely massive. A round that looked like they were done for as well. Shazam will find some confidence towards the end. 8-7 compLexity going into the second half of the lead after losing the pistol. That's 3 out of 3 pistols for MIBR. If compLexity can win this one, we might be going to a third. Still a lot of work to do here. One of the most tenacious teams in the game right now. MIBR are trading by 1 round. But win this pistol, you know they can get right back into it. We'll look at the buys right now as Yanko deliberates with the team. What kind of tactic are they going to be deploying at this point? They've got 2 smokes, a Molotov, and a couple of flashbangs. So they could go towards a banana area, but we'll see how it works out for them.
3 out of 3 pistols have gone the way of MIBR, and they've been pretty solid ones at that, including the first half of Inferno, where Cold got 4 kills without being touched or tainted in the slightest on top of the boost. So that's been a problem, and something compLexity certainly needs to address.
Well, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. compLexity 8, MIBR 7. If compLexity can pick this one up, we might just have a third map on our hands. Stewie and Fallen with the bomb, hiding towards T-Step. Stewie goes a little bit further, and Ye, been sensational on Inferno so far. Really enjoyed some of it. Smart decision-making and great positioning so far on Inferno, guaranteeing rounds with his play. Fur making his way through the apartments. This is not going to be the B-side approach, and without the HEs at the start, it's difficult to justify a fast B play, but they can certainly rotate slowly back into a position where this is actually looking quite likely for them. With the Molotov, presumably used towards new boxes, smoke a coffin, smoke CT spawn, flash over, and eradicate the risk with the Molotov. You don't have to look at new boxes at that point. They can just focus towards oranges and indeed the shadow position. So let's see what happens here as 5 players start to come in. We know where the smokes are going. Molotov for me should be new boxes, but could go towards Emo as well. That background position definitely can be thrown, but this looks like new boxes. So coldzera keeping it pretty standard. And there's the Molotov deployed, and Death will actually have it extinguished for him, so they can still fight.
Extinguished, but they know he had to peek out on his left side. They cover that off. Fallen's going to find Stan again. It's going the same way. Finally, a response, but he's completely surrounded. Nowhere to hide for Shazam. No prayer could save him inside of the chapel as Tarek occupies that space, and he absolutely will evict anyone coming that direction as Ye gets taken down. It's 4 for 4 MIBR.
Yeah, that's pretty insane. If you can't get a single pistol against these titans of Counter-Strike, you're always going to have a rough encounter with them. The execution pretty standard there. I like the adaptation to compLexity. They had a smoke to extinguish it towards new boxes, but they were so caught up in that. By the time the smoke went down, everyone was already dead as Tarek applies the pain towards the ruins area there. So well done from MIBR. 4 spy from compLexity, and one that has a lot of weight to it, as we'll see if these CZs can cause any sort of damage here. All tied up again. Flashbang from Stewie as he gets his way in towards B. Securely in the logs now, but we can see compLexity will treat this like a usual gun run. They've got 4 smokes, CZ's armor, and the Eagles need to connect with some of those shots there. Have a chance here. You've got to take those opportunities if they arise and see if you can land those 1-bigs. Molotov towards the corner, and you'll boost up the half wall there and just make sure there's no CTs close range.
Cold. Exactly that. Make sure that there isn't anyone around. Fallen now goes back. They're comfortable. They're content with their stranglehold on Banana. set up with one toward Arch is Shazam. He's not with armor, he's with Deagle. So two with Android, the same setup. Rotation. Stand to join, which is the right call so far. Should this continue as we at least view it on the mini-map. Everyone on MIBR over toward A. Deep sight position for Shazam doesn't really favor the Deagle at range, but Stan's got the corner covered. Great nade. Softens him up a little bit. Not quite as much as they'd love. Stan gets two. CZ showing off form yet again. Cole trades it back. That was inevitable as he went for the reload, but Ye now knows which side they're coming from. He'll swing. Remember, Shazam still sits in that corner as Cold. Has to hold off toward Moto. Has fallen as well. Slows the pace. He's the one with the bomb. Above him, inside of the apartments, is where Tarek hopes to enter from. Smoke down means he can actually jump out and join Fallen by going left 11 seconds. Keep an eye on Fallen, 11 seconds. Has to plant the bomb, he can't. Now they have to stay alive. That's going to be a task. No, it's not. Cool's got no chance. Round stolen back finally by compLexity.
They're going to kill him off at the time as well. That's brutal from compLexity. They bounce back. Stanislaw with the CZ, getting it done on the bomb side there. MIBR, we thought they were going to start running away with the second half, but no. Stan, who's been quiet all series, similar to Shazam in the last round of the first half, he steps up just when they need him there. And Shazam, no different with that Desert Eagle as well. Great stuff. The fact they took down Cold Zero after the round time expires means he gets zero cash going forward. He gets nothing. They're going to have to force buy here and try and replicate the form of the CTs. Deagles, P250s. Cold Zero could not get armor. It'll just be on the pistol. Nothing else. compLexity making this awfully interesting now, Matt.
No question. Def as well through the smoke takes Stewie back. Reset in the next rounds. It's down to just 4. They absolutely are showing form, and this is exactly what we want to see. Bit of a home representation with Def, obviously. Julia departing this event has the only chance to go through the semifinals for the UK. But they're also not just home in the event, home on the map, like we said. This would be their 4th win, I should say, on it. MIBR to approach and take down Stan. Good shot. It is a trade. He managed to get Cold just before he fell. So they still maintain the man advantage.
Yeah, that's the main thing there. So Def now can reposition, knowing they've only got the pistols, probably use most of their grenades at this point. If he just holds up, it's got Shazam rotating in as well. They're looking comfortable still. I don't think MIBR can do much with this now. They've still got a smoke for CT spawn, so maybe spoken a little bit too soon here, but we'll see. Shazam holding that position. That's going to be smoke for coffins there, thrown by Fallen. So he's anticipating Def to be in that position. Maybe they can focus towards spawn and try and challenge for the frag. Def, though, if he gets one, that's going to be pretty much locked in. There's Shazam peeking before the smoke blooms, and it's looking likely that CT should be able to expose this one out now. Def almost confirming it. There's really no chance of a bomb plant here. Fur completely flashed, and Def to close things out. So remember, that's a force buy from MIBR as well. So they're going to be eco now. That's 11 8s coming in. Presumably, I don't think MIBR will bring much into round number 19. It should just be Glocks, maybe some P250s, but compLexity looking at there in the driving seat now. A chance for them to farm some cash here with those SMGs as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Still a long way to go. They have to keep that mentality. They can't get carried away. MIBR is a team that can pull the rounds back in their favor at any moment. So much experience in doing so. You go all the way back to the Columbus Major. Very different roster, yes, but similar scenes. Now, having said not to get too far ahead of ourselves, Cash is the 3rd map, if it is required. Android, meanwhile, will back out from the apartments. No support in place. They're actually going to give up pit and play inside of the site directly. Whether they're anticipating that the pistols will run them down in that position or they'll be isolated or not, that's up for debate, but nonetheless, that's the setup they've chosen. Shazam certainly spotted that they've run out from Boiler. He's got to be careful not to overextend. Walking out from Arch, exactly that, runs out of ammo, but does get 2 quick kills before he comes under fire, and with so much time in between that and his last kill, the rotations come over to join him. Stan gets a kill. Android, all 5 stay alive. compLexity find number 11.
They really do. Much better from compLexity here on Inferno. looking like the more dominant team, especially in the second half. That second round of victory was absolutely everything, and MIBR will take a timeout here. Remember, this their T side, especially in my opinion, I feel like they really do struggle on. CT's always going to be fine, but their terrorist side, they don't really have that much to bring to the table. It's usually coming down to the clutches of coldzera. We'll have a look at the frag charts while we're here. The very top, coldzera once again, 17 and 8. Fallen Beneath, who hasn't had many kills this half, we're still early on into it with 14. Stewie 12, Tarek 12, Fur with 10. At the very top for complexity is Death, doing a great job there in his home country, of course. 11 kills, 12 deaths for him. Shazam, 10 and 14, turning his game around, actually looking deadly at this point as he warms up into the series. We get into it now. MIBR looking to answer back, but still the money is quite weak. They'll have no Molotovs in round number 20 here. They've got the AKs though. complexity with 3 rounds in a row, holding on to their SMGs to try and farm some cash. He definitely could have upgraded a few, but they want to keep the money strong. Oh, Dinks.
Second time we've seen damage through that wall. Remember, it was Stewie last time. That is desperately close yet again. Fur is already inside a boiler as well. If he doesn't get back down that hallway soon, he's going to have people all over him. They'll hear them retreating as well. As, yeah, you can see exactly that. Fur takes a peek and sees if they're still there, but they get away. 3-man stack toward the quad side, though. With the SMGs, that's not a bad decision to make. Leaves them vulnerable toward Arch. Smoke on that side suggests they want to get toward the mid wall. That would benefit complexity if MIBR did that, thinking that they were safe in doing so based on the positioning. But keep in mind as well, we've got so much time still in the round. They haven't committed, they've backed off, they want to bait out the CT utility. 1 defensive grenade, two. There's incendiary as well for EA, but 1 smoke left for Def. And that incendiary is now deployed.
Still on a knife's edge here. You can see they're not playing in the bomb side, Matt. They want to be fighting for kills here towards quad. Shazam there with them and watching the apartment and the quad position. So he can be baited in, but the shot to Crisp there from Fallen. He takes down Android, but there's 2 more players waiting right around the corner.
Still they hold, like you say, Android down. MP9 and 2 UMPs. MP9 at range. Shazam makes it work. Meanwhile, back for door B. That's where the action is. Dev can't find the shot before the smoke blooms. And that essentially allows them the entrance onto the site. Even just 1 would have deterred them enough that perhaps the bomb plant becomes a little bit more vulnerable given the time. 6 seconds. Derek just barely gets it down. Dev can't fire through. Tried desperately to fire the wallbang from the altar, but Tarek holding water.
Felt like it's one of those rounds it was going to connect, but not quite. Now the post-plant situation continues. Fallen opens things up, takes down one of the key players of complexity. That's Ye. I don't think the CTs have much of a chance in this one now. They're just trying to contain the terrorists and make sure as many players go down as possible. But it looks like MIBR have done it, at least this particular round. Great shot from Stan there to punish Stewie. Try and remove as much cash as you possibly can. Sure, they're going to win the round, but look at the money remaining for them. Everyone fully invested here as Stan continues to put bodies in bags there. Absolutely fantastic by him. It won't win the round, but 3 survive. 3 players go down from MIBR, where there should have been at least 4 staying with them there. So he's going to keep them on a modest leash here. As this was the opening kill from Fallen. Remember, it's a 3-man stack. Great stuff by him. And Fallen gets it done with the AK-47. A lot of the AWPers are not one-trick ponies. They've got absolutely every discipline of Counter-Strike mastered. Looking for double digits now. Money's still strong for complexity, even after reinvestment. Shazam's still with 5Ks. He brings out the AWP for the first time on the CT side. You can see MIBR, how influential those kills were, though, Matt. 2 Galils now in round number 21, where 4 players should have survived, only 2.
Molotov bounced. Doesn't even matter. Stays inside of it. In fact, it didn't extend. He's standing there, not even lit ablaze. He's just barely out of harm's way. Def's going to step out. How does Fallen not collect? Oh, just barely will. He knew he was on retreat, knew he was weak. Finally takes him down, but look at what the cost is. Great start to the round for complexity. Another reset situation. And the bomb goes scouring back down Banana over toward A, where in wait, no need to rotate, obviously, having won the exchange. Is both Android from Pit and Ye at the Arch. Peek Looking for information. They've got to get some. They can't sit back entirely. 2-2 essentially on take, right? You got the defense divided, so you need some information. That's what EA's trying to attain, but doesn't want to overextend, so there you go, confirmed. We've got one player at the very least over toward the other side. Goes back out. Flash didn't really do much for them, though, did it? Fur collects. He's now got Arch. They know he's gone towards CT, hence the positioning for Shazam. The bomb is yet to show face. Therefore, the push down from Def and Banana should at least reveal it's back toward A. Android is going to anchor. Do not leave the pit in this situation. There's no need to do so. He's just going to wait for the time to favor him with 25 seconds to go.
He just needs one kill here. That will be enough. You can see his teammate so far away. There's a little bit of damage there, but gives up his position. He is alone here on the A site, taken down by Fur. This was looking so good for compLexity, but all of a sudden it starts to fall apart. Only advantage they have now is the HP one. As MIBR get themselves in the crossfire, the retake begins.
Fallen at pick, could peek out and find Def. He's not looking. If he goes now, he's a dead man shortly, but Def gets one just before Fallen peeks. That reveals his position. Shazam and Fallen, each with one bullet from Def. Fallen has the advantage. He goes back out. Shazam walks straight into it. And you have to wonder, did Android overcommit firing at the first target?
He might have done that. He absolutely could have cost him the round there. 11-10, MIBR. It was looking so convincing for compLexity this round. This was a 4 versus 2, but you give them too much space here to work with, they can punish you for it. The kill couldn't be found towards that pit area, and Fallen against Shazam could have gone either way, but Fallen comes out on top. He's been fantastic so far in this quarterfinal, and it looks like the force spike coming through. Signs of weakness now for compLexity as they have to bring out the CZ, the UMP. The AWP is out for Shazam, but he hasn't looked his best so far today. A lot of pressure on his shoulders as they go for banana control here. Nades in towards Locks, no one there to receive. Using a lot of utility at the very start, and not going to get a kill from it. Shazam there with them. Might decide to fall back here. The AWP not looking too good for opportunities at the very start at least. Ye and Android alone on the A site. Whoever wins this round sends their opposition to an eco. If it's compLexity, it might be enough to close out this game if it's a convincing one. If MIBR can do it though, it's 11-11. Money broken for compLexity. They're going to get closer and closer to that 2-0. The absolute tipping point of the map is right now.
Tons of utility. Shazam fires into it immediately, hoping he'd collect. He cannot. Smoke down will delay them. That one certainly did connect, you're right. There's 38 HP left for Stewie. All of that utility. And it's back the other way. No rotation sold on that either. Shazam kept a watchful eye in toward the apartments. They don't have a lot of range, but Ye wants to sneak up. He's dinked. Tarek doesn't need to play this. They have to swing together. They do. Android somehow manages to get the shot on Tarek, even though Ye was really left with nowhere to go. That works out, but they give up. Arch, do they? No. Stan, second shot. The last board from the gun. He's going to get all four. Down at the Arch.
Stunning from Stan. He was non-existent in the first map, but my God, is he woken up in the second. That's absolutely brilliant by him. Decent angle, times of perfection, second kill. Arguably a little bit lucky, but the teamwork and his aim and positioning in the last two was nothing short of sensational. Absolutely brilliant by him. Round number 23, we did say that's a tipping point, as MIBR have the force by now. CZ's P250s, and exactly what I was talking about coming to this map. If they start to lose consistent rounds on the T side, I don't see them getting themselves back into it. Looks like compLexity might have done enough at this point. If they can win this round, they'll be 13-10 up with an eco against them. But it's MIBR. So many times has this group of players been out of it on Inferno, then they win a CZ round out of nowhere, and at that point run away with the game. Shazam needs to be careful here. Smoke support his position, drops the incendiary. That will be extinguished, of course. They go towards quad now. There are two players there. Android and Ye need to work in perfect harmony to shut down this approach towards the A site.
Ye blinded, can't find footing. Tarek's able to win it out instead, but as you see, Android still sitting in the pit.
Oh my goodness.
Had a chance to catch them all. Fallen checks it. Again, you can never discount MIBR. They find a way to plant the bomb. They keep 5 players alive and doing it in depth holding from Library. They both want to go through the door together. They'll let the op go first as Shazam wants the far shot. Stan, impressive in the last round. Needs to be absolutely perfect in this one. Sneak into position. Tank through the hay bales, threw his aim off. He's still got a kill, but Fur responds, and it's Shazam out of there already. So 12-11. They have to save the AWP and the money. That's impressive. MIBR pull it back with pistols, they get charitable donations in weapons, and they break complexity in doing so.
That's insane, isn't it? It's the round with the pistols, and I'm so glad I built it up in that fashion as well. Just when you think you've broken MIBR and you've got the map in the palm of your hand, they come back and win with a great CZ play. Back to basics there, a couple of smokes deployed, 3 players from complexity towards the B side of the map. MIBR come in and punish that pit area. Take down the first player, no problem. This was it. Look at the flashbangs. Ye can do nothing, and Fallen finds the cowering android in the pit there. Round over at that point, but they continue to find frags as Fur closes things out there. 12-11, the auto shotgun's out. My goodness, is that a thing? We'll see. Android is going to have to play his heart out here with the auto shotty. He'll head towards the apartments, presumably. And once again, we're at that tipping point once more. It seemed like complexity won the original battle, but it's all set up once again. Shazam with the AWP. Stanislaw just with the pistol. He's been so good at the rifle so far, but he's got a kill here. He's almost certainly got a kill.
Or maybe not. He walked directly into it for undetected to his left. You were absolutely spot on to suggest that he could have easily downfallen if not for the unfortunate circumstances that led to his death first. His death falls off. He's got 7 HP still firing in. And the shotgun, look at Android! Android authority as he runs all the way down to the bridge and gets a kill with the shotgun. That's going to give him an AK. So fair enough. If that's all he yields from the shotgun to an AK, not bad at all.
Absolutely.
Oh, that nade is well fallen. It's jumped in. It's damn good damage onto Fur, but if it went any further and bounced, Fallen might not be left alive in this round. Either way, they'll take it. 2 players weakened up. Certainly helps the UMP against the armor. Which side under threat? Yay again. Last time, remember, he overstepped ever so slightly from this position. UMP to work with, does spot them, falls off it. Android's going to give himself a bit of a chance to help by holding off the apartments by way of Molotov. He can swing left now if he needs to. Might not be wise, though, because they are heading back in his direction. Smokes himself in to see the doorway. They know exactly where he is. Molotov into that smoke, but doesn't extend far enough to catch him out on top of the bike. Not yet. Meanwhile, though, his teammate down, and a smoke to completely render him useless. He's going to allow a bomb plant. He wants to spray in, but he can't find it. And the problem is, in doing so, he continues to give up positioning. And look at Stewie. He has no idea. Android did not hear this at all. He's a dead man. Pit's gone, bombs down. Round should be MIBR's.
I think you're absolutely right. They have to save the AWP and the M4, even though there's so many tantalizingly low HP players on the MIBR side. It is going to be 12-12. Complexity looked like they had this one in the bag. They lose the pistols, and the Brazilians come back to life. 4 players to survive here. Make it 3. Shazam gives his position up, but he will be surviving here as Money gets desperate for complexity. Still a few rounds to go as Stewie, coldzera, and Fur exits in an orderly fashion. 1 player waiting in the pit, that's coldzera. He's got 100 HP, so he can survive in that position. It's a little bit odd with the bomb going off so close range, but he's absolutely fine, and there we have it. We are all tied up, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe the tactical timeout comes in at this point. Remember, if you are just joining us, it's currently 1-0 after an absolute battering on train. MIBR lead the way, looking to close things out 2-0. But Complexity have at least shown how good they were in the group stages and how they got here in the first point, as they're looking great. The teamwork's there, but unfortunately sometimes MIBR can be so stifling with their approach when they change things up, when they get the pistols and they go in as a group. There's not many people that can take them down.
And there's a few hints of an experience. Right, Android's starting to look a little bit nervous in the pit. You could argue he overcommitted when he was anchoring in that 3 versus 2, as it were. Was it 4 versus 2? But that, the round I'm talking about was the pistols going back over. And in the last round as well, putting down the smoke early, trying to play an angle. He was almost trying to dictate the play rather than play to the information that he had. Not to discount the amount of skill he's shown. Speaking of skill, very precisely takes over the boiler room. Shazam's AWP. And the M4, all that's left to fight with as they at least recover that from the position. Speaking of Android, he did get cold down with the Deagles, so that brings it back to 4-on-4. He's going to play with him. They won't anchor this time. Going to get aggressive, hold off that entire mid-wall as well as Stanislaw pushes out respectively on the arch. And joining in is Shazam. This is all about information early, catching out picks. A desperate rotation back to the B site. A perfect setup. More so because the pistol up close for Stanislaw. If they head that direction, op shot lands from Shazam, he might be able to grab a gun quick enough to take advantage of it. 42 seconds and bomb is still on this side of the map, which, from a complexity side of things, is exactly what they want. Tarek thinks it's going to be clear. Oh, now this becomes concerning. They push down. Did Fur spot this or not? I don't think he has. I think he's just missed it, but they're pushing out at the exact second that everyone's going in behind them. Stewie's going to spot them inside the middle, and now they've got a problem. Ball gets behind them. And they were positioned so perfectly, but the timing just barely off.
Yeah, it eludes him, and Fur will pick up 3. Shazam, unfortunately, can't do anything with this. Oh my goodness, hits the shot on Fur, but does barely any damage through 2 corners of the wall and will be taken down. Matt, they still have money to buy, but complexity lose their lead, 13-12. A nice little approach towards middle there. Looked promising. But Stewie, the timing, here's them coming, and it's Fur. They're opening things up in the apartments there. Great shot on Death. And then, there it is. To close things out as well, that made it a convincing round in the end. 13-12. And will they buy up here? It's a tactical timeout. I'd say yes. The money is there. Complexity now of around $4,500 on average per player. They've got 2 UMPs, which is fine on a map like Inferno. One of the few I say the UMP is actually viable in gun rounds, especially if you want a bit more utility. It's a very utility-based map. You want to have the smokes close out choke points and segregating flush terrorists out on retakes with the incendiaries. So very smart, I think, to actually bring out those extra bits of utility. It's a map as well where you can have lots of cubbies and crossfires to hide within. The Jank are now looking a little bit more relaxed. It was a turbulent second map for them. Still a lot of work to do. Open hand to Fallen now. Their money started to stabilize somewhat. Not completely there, but we're coming to the crescendo now of the second map. Who will come out on top? MIBR look like they're in full control as they go up against the weak buy here in round number 26.
Old aggressive. Through the hot flames, and straight in to the exchange. Stan that gets one in return. That's a good play from Depp to go back out, but he's got to be careful because Tarek's still holding off the angle. He wants to get aggressive. Smoke down. They won't know if he's retreated or not. But the AK picked up and fired. He's got to be so careful. In his position as they fire through, Tarek easily disposes of him. The man advantage now going the way of MIBR. B site wide open as well, and a bit of a panic rotation. Shazam wants to get the op over toward B. Smoke down as for now, but they won't overcommit either on the MIBR side, anticipating that perhaps that rotation happens sooner. Maybe there's a chance he's in a better position. Guessing game at this point on the complexity side. No one committing to the B side after all of the kills that went that way. Shazam figures if they're not going to commit now, they're expecting us to rotate, so maybe they're back over toward A, and that's where they go, and it's not wrong. The shot is, though, couldn't land it. Shazam has at least get Android to bail him out. He nearly finds a second over top of the box, just barely misses out on the chance to find Fallen's head, and he makes no mistake to find Shazam. MIBR on 14.
I thought Shazam had them there, and he had them boxed in towards Quad. If he gets that first kill, he could be over, but 14-12, a back and forth affair, a bit of a scrappy around this one as Tarek pushes the smoke, and then he gets it even more done on the A side. Fantastic work by him. Fallen though, I can't believe he nailed that. Shazam was ready and waiting as we get into round number 27. Has to be an eco here, really. 14-12 down, they're averaging around $3,500 per player now. You can't really justify a buy here, but at the same time, you don't really want to give MIBR match points. That's a massive issue and it has to be thought about here. Looks like they will take the eco. I can see pistols being purchased already. 4 HE grenades. This can still work. This is winnable. So you've got 2 options here. You dump them all towards Banana at the very start, or you do them towards T-steps from the top or middle and continue to push down with those grenades and try and challenge any players that are trying to bunch up towards the underpass area, for example. Which way would they go? They can even stack it up with 2 towards middle, 2 at Banana. It looks like we've got 3 at least heading towards the B area. Android and Ye, who both have grenades as well, will be nading middle. So it's the latter of the options. There's the 2 grenades from middle. Here's the grenades from Banana. How much damage is inflicted? Not that much. They actually take a load of it themselves as Stewie looks likely to get his second frag. He might be caught out of position here, and indeed he is. Def takes him down.
Not bad. Patience pays off. Unfortunately, his arms sticking out a little bit too much.
And unfortunately there, Matt, they don't get any upgrades in terms of the weaponry, so that's a bit of an issue as Fallen removes the guns there. I thought he was going to be taken down, but he lives to fight another day. 3 versus 3.
Perfect.
And Tarek, yes, he is waiting right towards the Romeo position there. Yeah, he doesn't get to push any further, but he certainly will. Doesn't nail the first few shots. Remember, Andrew's got no armor here, so he will melt as soon as the bullets get near him.
For
chance here.
Keep going on this. There's still a chance. The problem is that Fur is sneaking around as always behind them. Couldn't land it. Shazam, I was going to say, maybe a bit of a surprise, but apparently not. Ye does get one back. AK picked up in Bomb. He's got a chance, but he's got no positioning, and Tarek finds him before Fur even comes back into it. It is map point, series point for MIBR. compLexity did absolutely put up a fight on Inferno. Is it enough? We've had enough overtimes in this major so far, Henry.
We really have. It's been the FACEIT overtime major. We've had over 30 of them.
And most of them on this map, just to note.
Yes, well, that's because we saw so much of Inferno in the best of one. But yes, it is normally Mirage or Inferno, sometimes Cash. But yes, it is a very common map. And it's my favorite caster. I actually love Inferno. It's got great tactical diversity to it. As we'll see now, compLexity looking for overtime. 3 clean rounds in a row required up against MIBR, who look incredibly sharp at taking the last 5 rounds. So that's one thing compLexity got in the wheelhouse, is the fact they have maximum loss bonus now. Def looking to challenge Stewie here. Looking for that 2-0 though. MIBR was so dominant in the first map, and it was looking like compLexity had done enough until they lost that anti-eco. Or anti-force fire, I should say, with the PG50s and CZs out. Ever since then, the clean rounds from IBR. What a catalyst that was.
Slowing the pace naturally. No need to get aggressive. Tell us, give anything away, and like we say, potentially leave the door open for an overtime. Let's go down in typical formation toward B. One at CT to contain, and then the counter smoke to delay the take on top of it. But really, as we see it, and as we know, not that they do, there's only one player on that position. And it was Fallen's up, which now retreats to join, potentially, and presumably his teammates with 30 seconds to head toward the A site. Forward stance for Shazam. WP, though, is going to get absolutely wrecked because Android's flashed far sooner than he was expecting and couldn't defend his teammates backside. The rotations have to come in. 3 players toward the B site. Bomb not yet planted. It was the one kill they got was the bomb carrier, Stewie. Dropping that temporarily does at least allow the rotations to get closer to the site. They have to go. 2 kits in play. A single flash. That is all Fallen. He's waiting. He's got an easy shot on the first. Fur's already found the 8. Fallen knows where the second one is. Stan gets at least the kill in return, but it's MIBR that'll advance through to the semifinals. compLexity put on a hell of a performance to get this far, but unfortunately can't come up spades against MIBR.
And all I'm going to say is, Matt, I feel like compLexity had that game.